Good evening, everyone. What's up? How you guys doing? Evening encouragement, something to help you take self-love to the next level. What's up? Kamusta kayong lahat? I hope you guys can hear me loud and clear. Sharing some encouragement for everyone tonight. Anyone who's live, up, and hopefully you can hear me. If you can, feel free to comment below. Love to know how you guys are doing. How was your day? Monday. Kamusta kayong lahat from all over the world? At the page, we've got Italy listening in, Modesto, California, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, people from all over the world, Japan, of course, Ohio. I'm so grateful to everyone tuning in. And I want to do my usual encouragement tonight, and I'll leave this up as a replay for those who might need extra words of encouragement. So, first of all, I guess that's a very important question to ask yourself if you're listening kung nakikinig kayo tonight. How are you doing? Kamusta ka? And if you could just pause for a while and not be quick to answer that. Usually, di ba, pag tinatanong tayo, kamusta ka? Like, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm good, okay lang, okay lang. And for some people, it isn't the case. And I think it's being able to literally, I mean, di ba? Hi, Neris. Isn't it great? Like, there are days when people ask you, how are you doing? Like, I'm excellent. I feel really good. I feel so grateful. I feel awesome. I feel amazing. And there are days when you might not feel so good. And to really pause and say, today was not so good. I guess over the years, I've learned to be able to be honest and open enough to be able to share when I'm having good days and when I'm not having, when I'm having those not so good days. And for me, it's very liberating. So for Neri, she said it was a great Monday. Great. May you have more great days in your life, and again, may you use that to encourage other people. It's amazing, no, when you have like a great day. But what makes a great day? And I'll go to the self love hopefully before. I'll just do a quick intro as I get this live going. What makes a great day for people? Usually, it's this. If everything that I was sort of like expecting or wanting, if everything happens the way I want it to happen, then it's a great day. I'm talking about just one person here. I'm just talking about in general, diba? And when we say it was not a very good day, it was a crappy day when we encounter challenges. There's, of course, the bills. There's the relationships. There's we're unhappy with work. We're unhappy with what we're doing. And or maybe we're unhappy with ourselves. Many people, yun yung struggle. Like we just don't like ourselves anymore. And if you've heard this statistic that 70% of people in the U.S. are unhappy with their jobs. But I think this is in general. A lot of people are unhappy with what they're doing. But there are also, and I'm also greeting everyone who are happy with whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's work or business. And I say more power to you, and may you have more experiences of joy and those things that bring you joy in your life. But if you get to sort of like understand as you're going through life, na everything that is happening, especially those times when we don't like it, what if those were the times that where you could say like, I'm having an amazing day, I'm having a great day. Bakit? Because everything that we're going through, whether we think, so now we bring in evaluation. I think it was Krishnamurti who said, like, observation without evaluation is the highest form of intelligence. It's very difficult, though, to not evaluate ourselves. Meron bang ganito, listening today? You're always constantly evaluating yourself, how good you are, how bad you are. It just never ends. It's a never-ending cycle. And it's what I think, it's what really discourages so many of us. Like, at the end of the day, we evaluate. Oh, I'm still a crappy person. Oh, I'm still no good. Oh, and it's that little voice. And all these seminars and books that you read, they'll always talk about this little voice. What is this? Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul, Eckhart Tolle. But even in these other trainings where, and it was so difficult for a lot of people, it still is when you're struggling, di ba, nakikipag-away ka. I posted this the other day, and it's just your voice that you hear, but it's such a loud voice. It's a voice that you think is you. But then again, like, why would I put myself down? Why would I try to self-sabotage? Well, that's an interesting thing. And most of it is directly connected to an experience you had growing up. And for many of us, unfortunately, madami sa atin, how many of you have had, that experience growing up where maybe you heard hurtful words, maybe you saw hurtful actions, and the actions were done to you. And as children, there's no other way we can cope except to internalize and give meaning to this. And sad truth is, the meaning that many children give, so lahat tayo dumaan ng pagkabata, is that, there's a negative meaning we put to our lives. And that's why today, as adults, if you're listening to this, sabi mo, kaya pala nagsa-struggle pa din ako. No wonder I'm still struggling. No wonder I'm still, going through these thoughts. It's because I have not gotten to a space where I've understood that this voice inside my head is not me. This voice that constantly tries to bring me down and other people down, it's not me. It's liberating. Once you're able to separate all the judgments that you have popping in your head from who you really are, you're going to experience, for me, such an amazing peace and joy, because you're going to be able to discern. And I think that's the most important thing for a lot of people. You're going to be able to discern when that voice, you'll be able to hear it. And you'll be able to go like, oh, there's that voice again. But you will not associate with that voice. Ibig sabihin, hindi mo na siya isipin that that's still you, and I'm still a failure, I'm still haven't achieved anything. And bakit ito importante? Well, because for many of us, it literally steals our joy away from us. It steals away gratitude. It steals away appreciation. It steals away the very essence of why we are alive. Just to be here in this present moment. And again, it's there's nothing mystical about it. It's just, well, maybe this moment I can find someone to be grateful for. Like, I'm grateful I can do this. I'm grateful. I was chatting with my auntie today. I'm grateful I have those talks. I got to speak with my mom as well. The other day was with my son. I mean, there's always something that we can. But a lot of us, I think, problema, or the challenge for many of us, we think that these are just like, oh well, it's normal. It's part of life. To be able to eat, to be able to walk, to be able to do stuff. And then we never think about it until it's taken away from us. And then this is like what we call your wake-up call. And a lot of us will get life's wake-up call in different areas. It could be health, relationships, our career, money, spirituality, or leadership. And the wake-up calls are never pleasant, but they are always essential. They're always important. I mean, imagine, sabi nila, diba, like hell is meeting the person you could have become. And you're like, oh, you could have, it's not even about fame or the money, but it's about being able to live your life and realize your maximum potential as a human being. Because therein lies where you will find joy and peace and love. And you look back on your life and you're like, wow, that journey, it was such a short journey, but I really enjoyed it because I was able to somehow be connected to God, be connected to Source while I was still alive. And it was wonderful. Then you go meet God when you're gone and you're like, wow, that was an amazing trip. Versus you're there and you're like, sabi mo like, oh, that was so terrible. It was all about pain and hurt and unforgiveness and misery. And then, maybe God would say, how would you have lived it? Well, if you were to replay that, how would you have lived differently? And then you wake up, it was a dream, and here you are. How would you have lived life differently starting today? And many people, I think that's the problem itself. We think like we're just gonna be here forever, and whatever. But the moment we get the essence again of gratitude, and you won't always be grateful, you won't always feel happy, and that's great because that's already your reminder that you're going through life journey, you're going through life process. I'll read something from John D Martini's book, which is really really great, and I've been sharing a lot about it and other stuff. But here we go. Ultimately, life is not meant to be only positive or negative, happy or sad, but to be expressed with a balanced expression of love and wisdom. Wisdom is the instantaneous recognition that, oh my gosh, I'm going to highlight that just a minute. Wisdom is the instantaneous recognition that crisis is a blessing. Sabi nga nila, diba, in Chinese, the characters for crisis is the same as opportunity. And I don't know if that's a myth or a lot of people have shared that, but that is interesting. But it's true. If you just look back on your life, all those things we said that were curses or were terrible, if you really look back, you're like, wow, those were the moments that I got to tap into something that I never knew was there. And experience na ba yun? Has anyone experienced that? We're like, wow, thank God that, this happened to me. Because if it did not happen to me, I would have stayed the same. What do you mean? Well, it means I would have still been the victim. I still would have been blaming. I still would have been angry. I still would have been unforgiving. I still would have been stuck in life. But thank God that, that thing that woke me up. And I'm grateful. I didn't like it at the time. It was unpleasant. But looking back now, I would not have had it any other way because it helped me grow. But so what's the dividing line? The dividing line, I think, is attitude and awareness. Where some of us might see, what's great about this opportunity? What's wonderful about this? Well, maybe you're discerning people who you want around you and people you don't want around you. That's great. Maybe you're discerning, like, oh, it's hurt in this relationship and that. Well, great. And I'm not trying to make it simple, but I'm just saying, for those of you who are looking for that healing, well, you were able to discern, maybe for a lot of people, how to value yourself. And maybe you were able to discern as well what's okay and what's not okay. You're able to, be more open and honest about what it is that you want. So, love is the automatic, instantaneous expression of the two sides of life. You express either pure unconditional love when you acknowledge the balance, or conditional and emotional love when you acknowledge the imbalance. Isn't that great? Like both are, it's always there. But pag one-sided, dun tayo nahihirapan eh. Like, it's got to be just one side. I don't want to go through these trials and struggles. Cherry Huber has a great book on this as well, where she says, a lot of us are waiting to pay off that debt. A lot of us are waiting to get that pin title, to be promoted for that trip. What's up, Mr. Joshua? He's back. Hi, Sam. More power to you as well. April 15, 16, 17, Unbounded. You guys got to be part of that. What's up, Z? I miss you, Z. So either you're centered in a state of love which feels most purposeful here. Ito importante to. Either you're centered in a state of love which, hi Doc Francis, which feels most purposeful here on earth, or you go off on emotional tangents to gain wisdom about what you haven't yet loved. Oh my gosh, how many of you love that? Either you're centered in a state of love. Okay, let us not be unrealistic. Like, oh, everything is just love, and I'm just all love. Yeah, wait till sigawan ka or pagalitan ka or there's a crisis in your relationship. It's not all love. I mean, there's wisdom that you've got to apply every single day that you're going through your challenges. But that's great because you get to tap into those into again resources that you never knew was there. But I think so many of us, like, we reframe too fast. Like, oh, I'm going through this challenge. Sana matapos na. I just want it to be over with. I just want to be normal again. But there is no normal. Wow. This is like going to be a wake-up call for someone. Well, the normal that you're meant to go through, perhaps, and you just sort of assess this yourself, is the challenges, is the blessings, are the hardships, but also the breakthroughs. They're like hand in hand. As you go through life, it's part of that. But why am I sharing that? Because the most important thing is that you no longer judge yourself for when it's crappy. Hi, Frank. What's up, Coach Frank? I'm feeling so good tonight, as I'm going with the flow. And I'm also sending, prayers to all of you guys who are listening. When I say prayers, like blessings, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what your day was like. I don't know what your fears are. But I do know you're a human being. And I do know that you experience pain. You experience joy. Experience love. So may you have more of those pleasant feelings. But may you also experience those things that will help you grow. And may you not judge yourself when you go through those things. You can't blow it. There are no mistakes. Tangents are detours. Only reminders of how to grow in love. Again, what's the gap? Well, the gap is when the judgments of ourselves and other people. How many of you, don't raise your hands because I can't see your hands, but how many of you are experts at judging people? Like, we're all experts. This person is this, that person is that, my ex is this, my current relationship is that. We're so experts at that, but we're also experts at judging ourselves, diba? I mean, we're so good at it. But I wonder if we just tried, the Baneres, what if we just tried something a little different? Like, what do you mean? What if we spoke as if every word that we spoke would come true? What if we just say, thank you, God, that everywhere I go, I'm surrounded by your blessings and your favor. Thank you, God, that every opportunity that I'm going through, every challenge that I'm going through in my life is an opportunity to grow and to learn and to become a better human being. If everything you did, okay, if everything you did, here's a question to people who are listening. If everything you did, said, and thought was broadcast 24 hours a day on eternity television, how many of you would like that? Well, I was going to share, forget that story. It's a toilet story. Let's skip that. It was broadcast 24 hours a day on eternity television, and everyone knew everything about you. Here's the question. Are you guys ready? Type ready if you're ready. Thank you, God, that every day is a character building day. Amen. It is. I love it. Sam is connected to Z. Z is connected to everyone's connected. Oh yeah, this Saturday I'm gonna do a get together online. It's called Life Guide. It's free. I just wanna hang with you guys. Usually I do it like 8 p.m. on a Saturday, so I want to do that this weekend. I hope you guys can join. All right. So if everything you said and did was broadcast 24 hours a day on eternity television, and everyone knew everything about it, Taddy's ready. Could you love? Josh is ready. Could you love yourself? Boom. Well, think about that for a moment. Sure, you can love yourself when you're exercising. Yay. You can love yourself when you're doing your planks. Woohoo. You can love yourself when, you were, I don't know, eating your vegetables and you were resisting the sugar. Great. When you were being kind to your spouse, when you hugged them, you prayed together. Congrats. But what about those days where you have your breakdowns? Pag nagmura ka, pag may minura ka, when you don't feel very kind to other people, and then you feel like so icky. But that ickiness, that really bad feeling, it doesn't leave you. It's just there. What about those days when you lock yourself in the room and you're just crying? Or God directly sees, whoever you believe, directly sees your doubts. And you speak faith, but you live in doubt. I mean, how do we love ourselves then? And that's why I think the main message that I'm trying to share tonight is that, what if I could, and this does not mean, so tinanong nito ni Brene Brown with Tim Ferriss in their podcast, where do we draw the line between, self-acceptance, this is who I am, this is my body, this is my mindset, and versus wanting to grow as a person, so that's something you're gonna have to determine for yourself. But you already know, those listening to this and listening to the replay, you already know whether you are speaking in truth, you're being honest, or you're lying to yourself when you know that you're using it as an excuse for you not to grow because it's safer. Well, I feel safe. Like, I'm doing these broadcasts. It's the scariest thing. Like, to have people listen to you and perhaps judge you. I'm just saying. That's why a lot of people are so freaked out with these broadcasts, because like people will hear you and they say, oh, you're a hypocrite, you're a liar, you're this. Yep. Welcome to the club. But as long as you are knowing that, but wait a minute, but I've never put myself in a position where I say I'm better than people or that I know better than you. But what I'm doing is I'm sharing the journey that I'm going through, where I'm bloodied and bruised and battered and beaten up many times because you're in the arena. And that puts you to a certain type of humility. Yun yung sinasabi ko eh. It does not make you freaking arrogant. It does not make you proud. But it brings about this type of humility. But it's a beautiful kind of humility because it's a humility that does not let people, walk all over you and hurt you. It makes you set your boundaries. But it's done in kindness. I think that's where a lot of people are mixed up. Like, now I'm so empowered because of all these seminars and trainings. Now I'm going to trample over people. No, it doesn't work that way. As much as awareness and enlightenment, whatever you guys want to call it, is revealed or given to you, it puts you into a space of humility. And you're like, God, thank you, because I would not have known these things if you had not revealed them to me. Now, what do I do with this? Maybe I can share it, because sincerely, a lot of people, study says, have their zombie days, their tamad days, their judgment days. And if one person could just hear you, if one person could just be encouraged, well, that person is your mom, is your father, is your someone in your family who's down and out, who's, again, they're saying anxiety is rising up. Well, I rise up with the anxiety. And I try to share, like, it's just the little things to be able to walk. I mean, I walked a lot today. To be able to pick out plants. How many of you guys love plants? Or maybe to do your business, like when you're telling people about this life-changing opportunity. Well, isn't that wonderful? It's not about whether they sign up or not. It's about you growing yourself. It's about you finally not rejecting yourself. It's about you learning. So it's always been about training. It's always been about growth. Yeah. Are you guys learning? I mean, please comment if you are learning. I want to keep going. I just feel like there's more I can share tonight. Reaching such an understanding and wisdom that even when you put yourself up or you put yourself down, you just return to the truth of love. This is interesting, love, because it's a scientist who wrote this. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate you, Josh, and everyone commenting here. A scientist who wrote this, and he studied all the ology, zoology, cosmology, and he talks about love. Another therapist, he has a PhD in psychology as well, David Hawkins, as well as Marshall Rosenberg. These are guys I just love their work. Like there are people that you just resonate with. They all talk about love, and you're like, well, this is interesting. But even neuroscientists speak about love. And these are people who go through the empirical method, and everything is like, these are all based on data and studies and research. But I think that's why love is put in there. It's really to parang to mess up. That was in the word somewhere, to mess up the intelligence of the intelligent, and to just be able, like, wow, it can be so simple. Every single person, if you can hear this, every single person, that's you listening tonight. I feel like I'm going to do an altar call. Every single person has stuff, things they're ashamed of and don't want to lay out on the table, and that's called your private life. Diba? Like, you all have your private life. Like, you don't know everything about me. You guys don't see my breakdowns, although I do share about them, and I'm proud of my breakdowns. And this is what I've been hearing podcast after podcast of people who are now, like, I think many of us are resistant to fake stuff, diba? Like, you don't want to, like, hear, it sounds great, like, oh, these are charismatic speakers, but if it's fake stuff, it does not sustain your growth. It does not sustain your transformation. But what's real is the struggle and the challenges that each and every one of us goes through. Mastery is the ability to take your privates public. That sounded funny. To take your privates public. By that, this is John D Martini. By that I mean that if you can take the private things you don't like about yourself, wow, that this is unbounded. This happens in the program that I run. And people get to share, well, this, I don't like this about myself, I've been judging, and then once they get to realize that they are in a space where, well, no one is judging, no one is criticizing, no one is diagnosing. People are crying. Why are people crying? Well, because they realize we're all the same. But when I'm not in this space, I think I'm the only one going through it. And I think God is angry with me. I think God wants to punish me. I think other people look down on me. I mean, because I'm struggling with money? Are you freaking serious? Because you're struggling in your marriage? Are you freaking serious? We all go through it, man. I mean, come on. If you're listening to this, like, this is the altar call. If you're listening to this and you're freaking struggling, I mean, send me a message. I mean, let's talk. Wow, this is serious stuff. So if you can take your private things, the private things you don't like about yourself, and embrace them to the point where it doesn't matter if people find out about what. Well, I'm struggling in my marriage. I'm struggling with finances. I'm struggling with an addiction. I'm struggling with finding my purpose. I'm struggling with my sexuality. I mean, so many things. But there's that fear again of judgment from so many people. And then we keep living this fake life. I just feel that heaviness tonight. Wow, for so many people who are struggling. Because we have to keep up appearances. Otherwise, we fall off the hierarchy. We go to that last rung where we might not have meaning and significance. It's all lies. So, if you can get to that point, embrace them where it doesn't matter if people find out about them or not, then you love yourself. I've got to read that line again. If you can take the private things that you don't like about yourself, embrace them to the point where it doesn't matter if people find out about them or not, then you love yourself. Well, they found out like I'm struggling in my marriage. Great. But they found out I'm struggling with money. Great. They found out I'm struggling with this thing or that thing. Oh, great. But I and I'm not afraid anymore because I don't judge myself for struggling. How many of you listening to this live, and how many of you will listen to this as the replay? You're still judging yourself. But the judgment is so loud because all your life, all you heard was you're not enough. You're not this. You can't do that. And why can't you be like that person? Why can't you be like this person? I mean, wow. Sabi ni Sam, ramdam ko ang bigat bigla, coach. Ha? So much resonance. Wow. Well, Sam, but this is, I mean, I've been coaching people all over the world. And I'm saying that everyone is struggling with the same thing. It doesn't matter which country you're in. I mean, Australia, Europe, Singapore, the US. I've coached people from everywhere. And it's the same struggle. But once it's brought out, it doesn't matter anymore. Like, we just realize that we're all going through this journey. But it's the shame, Same. It's like, Tati, it's the shame. Like, if shame can get you, nakakahiya naman malaman nila nagsastruggle tayo. What the? Like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, stop the game. But this doesn't mean that you become victim either, where everything is just about, like, kawawa ako, kawawa. No, it's not about that. It's about recognizing the challenges that we were all going through, but to not judge yourself anymore for that. And to not be so afraid of what other people will say, because you have no idea what other people are going through. I mean, I'll start wrapping this up. Wow. If you guys are liking this, please drop a comment. I would love to interact with you guys. When you love yourself, people can... So, no, self-love. But what the heck does self-love mean? When you love yourself, people can push your buttons. But they will automatically attack you in whatever areas you... Oh, God, this is so good. People can't push your buttons, but they will automatically attack you in whatever areas you attack yourself. Wow. And John D Martini spoke about this, where I shared this on my interview. Thanks, Josh. Where I said, well, people will judge you as this, bam, and that. But I said, yeah, but I am all of those things. I am weak. I am anxious. I am struggling in relationship. I am struggling with money. I am struggling with spirituality. And I'm like, wow, to be able to declare those things. And it's not arrogant. It's just like, but who isn't? But not many of us get to that space where we're not ashamed to struggle. And we're all looking up at these people, Oprah. All these authors are so great. Yeah, but you read about their stories. Read about all the tragedies that they went through. Read about how they were sleeping on park benches where they had no money. And where they didn't know where they were going to be. God, there's just so many stories. But everything that they went through helped shape them to who they are today. So everything you do, they can only attack what I attack in myself. Yes! I'm glad you had that aha, Tati. Diba? Isn't this so cool? Ibig sabihin, if you're attacking it still in yourself, insecure ka ba about it, well, other people can attack you there. And for me, now I'm learning that, like, meron yan sa Bible, Tati, like, in everything, like, consider others better than yourself. I'm like, what the heck does that mean? Can be very difficult interpreting the Bible as well. But maybe it just means that, I'm not defending an ego position anymore. And the moment that I become, what's your indicator? Well, defensiveness. Are you struggling? No, I'm not. Are you having trouble? No, I'm not. I've got everything handled. Your buttons have been pushed. But there's a peace and there's a calm. I think that's the important thing for this broadcast that a lot of people are looking for. For me, 99% of coaching that I do, people are looking for peace. Peace about, whether I'm on the right track, whether I have value, whether I have worth, significance. Um, there's just so many things. Everything you do, good or bad, positive or negative, serves to teach you about love. When you give yourself permission to be fully human, a lot of us don't, you know, we don't. Because I understand why we don't. Because we've been hurt before when we became very vulnerable and open. A lot of people are out to hurt you. But once you are able to know, well, I have this light side and I have this dark side, and I see both, and I get to embrace both, not be ashamed of it. Well, you stop living your fake life. And when your fake life is done, like, well, okay, it's just these two things. But it doesn't mean you get stuck there. It doesn't mean you don't move forward. It doesn't mean you use it as an excuse to stay stuck, right? Or to treat people badly. I'll end with this. When you give yourself permission to be fully human, you approach the divine. But there are beliefs and misunderstandings that keep you from appreciating divinity in every aspect of yourself in the world. And there's an exercise here, but I'll pause here. I hope you guys got value from this evening encouragement. I'm grateful, Z, all the way from North Carolina. Josh, I'm glad you're back. Tati, thanks for Sam. I appreciate all of you. And I'm looking forward to interacting with you guys this weekend. Yeah, I'll do a free get together. It's just sharing of ideas and insights. I'll do it on Zoom. So send me a message if you want to be part of it. April 15, 16, 17, I'm doing a program online. It's all about this. It's conversations like this, but I have frameworks. I have close-eyed processes. We go through a journey where we're supporting each other, and other people are supporting you as well. You never feel judgment in that space. You never feel like you have to do something. Anyway, I'll stop here. Thank you for the values. Thank you, Josh. I really appreciate you. God bless you, your business, and your life. I think we need more people to send out encouragement to others. You freaking don't know what people are going through. It doesn't matter what age. It doesn't matter what age. Send people an encouragement. Send people a blessing, because you have no idea what they're going through. But you do know, you will know, that everyone's ending will be the same. And that's a sobering fact, right? That really makes you pause. Like, what am I doing with this life? What am I doing now? Well, there's kindness. Well, there's prayer. Well, there's encouragement. And do it now. I think that's the closest we get to God when we are in that space. Because you'll never be perfect. So you might as well give that up. It doesn't mean you're not growing. It doesn't mean you're not exercising and working on yourself, right? We're constantly doing that. But we also get to appreciate and accept our imperfect state. Thanks so much, Frank, for being here as well. Everyone in Davao, Iloilo, blessed by this live. Yeah, thanks, Z. I appreciate you taking time. People listen to this with their children while they're washing the dishes, while they're driving in their cars. I appreciate all of you. God bless. Have a great night.